Hey, everybody, it's Colette Baron-Reid. You're listening to Inside the Wooniverse, and I am bringing to you these little mini blabbermouth things called Woo² that I get to do with my executive producer, Connie Diletti,
Oh my
where we
gosh.
just talk. We sometimes talk about things you ask us to talk about, and other times we're
Mhm,
talking about things that we think are interesting. So
mhm.
today, what are we talking about there, Connie?
Well, today we're gonna talk about the power of intention and the
Right?
power of 8 and make a little mini plug for season 3 coming out in May 2nd. We're kicking off with Lynne McTaggart, and
Ah,
so I thought, "Let's talk about Lynne, the power of 8 and the power of intention."
I love her. And I
Mm,
am so excited that she is going to be kicking off season 3. You know, The Power of 8 was a book that Lynn published a few years ago.
mhm,
And it described something that I had learned from one of my early teachers on the different healing modalities that I studied way back when
right,
I think, well, gosh, like 30 years ago plus. I had a teacher who talked about the power of prayer
mm,
and the power of healing, prayer, and intention in small groups where it wasn't about
mhm,
you, it was about the other people. So, the kind of gist of Lynn's work was the evidence because she's a researcher, she's a scientific researcher, and it took her many, many years, right, before she came out and produced this book, which was a description of all the evidence that she had gathered about the impact on these small groups. Specifically, in her case, she claims that it was 8 people. In our case, it was 6 people. So, but hey, everything she described in the book, we experienced in the groups of six, like 6 to 8 kind of thing. So it was a little
mhm,
looser the way I was taught it, but didn't matter
yeah,
because I went and did it again. Once Lynn's book came out, I was like, I want to be in a group of 8.
yeah,
So it was a very, very interesting thing, and I started adding this as a part of my masterminds that I ran, like the
mhm,
concept of group intention.
mm,
So I have been a student of Lynn's for a number of years. I've taken all her courses, like all of them. As soon
mm,
as they're on the internet, I'm in. I'm in. I want to see the power of intention. I was there when we saw evidence that a leaf woke up basically with all our prayers at it. It was amazing. So we know it
amazing.
works.
Mm,
And her posit is that there is, healing that can occur. My experience is it's not so much about healing as it was about a sense of empowerment.
mm,
Because we never did anything about someone's illnesses, for example, and that's what
right,
hers is. And I do understand why it took her so long to actually gather the evidence because that's pretty radical to say that 8 people
mhm,
in a group,
mhm,
people have remissions from different diseases
mhm,
and stuff.
right,
But what we saw in my groups, because it was in the beginning of me going to Unity Church and
right,
doing treasure maps and
right,
manifesting and all that
mhm,
kind of stuff, is that a person's psychological blocks would basically melt away from being in alignment with the life that they wanted to live. That was really clear. That whenever we got together in groups, everybody felt amazing because you'd be praying for the other people, right? So that they
mhm,
receive the blessings of the universe and that they are capable of completing something. Or it was usually about something they were doing, not necessarily
mhm,
something they were being healed for.
right,
And everybody had epiphanies and everybody saw things melt away and everybody saw in
mhm,
their lives saw evidence that what that the being prayed for not not asking for anything, right? Just these hold when other people hold space on a consistent basis for you, and this is this power of intention, things actually happen.
mm,
But they were always for the highest good.
mhm,
So I remember this one incident where we were all holding space for this person. This person was with a partner who was they were having a lot of problems. Like, I
mm,
want like so her intention was that her situation would melt into like a loving
right,
scenario, right? A loving partnership, right?
mm,
So really fast they broke up,
mhm, mhm,
right? Like within a year, the qualities, because she was like she would list out the qualities of what she wanted, and she believed that those qualities, the potential of those qualities were in her current partner. But it was interesting. So sometimes you get evidence that things don't go the way you think they should go, and then bam, every single thing
mm,
that she intended or we intended for her I think it was only 6 months later. Like, honest to God, it
Wow.
was short. It was very
That's
short
amazing.
period of
Mhm.
time, and then the person marked all the right? But
Mhm.
so being really surrendered to see what the form is, that's the other thing,
Mhm.
not being attached to something happening, just receiving it is
Mhm.
it's a curious experiment. So you have to I think you really have to step into it like it's an experiment. I'm gonna do this,
Mhm.
and it
She
feels
calls it that.
she
Mhm.
does call it that, right? The intention
Mhm.
experiment. She calls it
Mhm.
that with her Power of 8, but we experimented. And that was what
Mhm.
my teacher said, experiment with God is what she said. Experiment with
Mm.
God.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, we would pray for other people and on a weekly, get
Mhm.
together, sit there and hold space for that person so that their highest good could become manifest. And sure enough, bam.
Yeah, it's making me think of, like, I grew up in, the Roman Catholic church, so, like, during a mass, you would there would be these intentions, and the entire congregation would say, "Yes, I pray for this." And then thinking about how even just, like, really old school, places where there could be, like nuns, for example, you send away an intention for them, like a whole again, another, like, collective of people to pray for you or someone you know. I
Yeah.
mean, it seems like this
This
is
is
like
not new. I know.
it's not yeah, it's not new yet. The way that, like you said, like at Unity Church, now all of a sudden you knew your whole group, you knew everybody,
Yeah.
everyone was vocalizing their specific
Yeah.
things that they wish to create and be supported in. And then there you are. And yeah, you're feeling great because you're giving something, whether it's a prayer, a positive intention, like, yeah, I hope like some hope.
You give what you do too is you acknowledge it's like you're acknowledging that there is a
Mhm.
consciousness that
Yeah.
that is abundant and that it
Mhm.
is possible.
Mhm.
100% healing is possible for somebody. And
Yeah.
again, going back to Lynn's work, she
Mhm.
has evidence that
Mhm.
evidence that these things that are impossible, she has seen the impossible become possible.
Right.
And now I know she actually has courses in it and, like, creates these groups, and you can get coached by her and these it's extraordinary. That's why I wanted to talk to her too, also because she's really a science person. She does not like, she will not produce anything that she hasn't seen enough evidence for, that then she could say, "You know what? I can put my name on this." That's what I respect her. Because I mean,
Yeah.
listen, you know, like, I have oracle cards and, I talk to dead people and I'm funny and all, like, so there's I'm like,
Someone's not
these
taking
are
your
more
word for it. You better
it's
take
more
Lynn's word for it.
anecdotal, but then when I get so excited, like people like Lynne
Yeah.
McTaggart publishes something like this that I've had personal experience with, like, I'm going, "Yes,
Mhm.
that's exactly what I learned." And then I
Mhm.
was like, "I wanna do that again."
Mhm.
So, yeah, I am thrilled. But so anyway, so I guess in essence, if you're listening to this, getting together with friends,
Mm.
and holding space and praying for the highest outcome,
Mhm.
for whoever, the most respectful outcome, the highest outcome for whoever it is in the group, like go around in a circle. If
Mm.
you can do that, it just well, plus it feels good, to do
Mhm.
something for somebody else and you're not thinking about yourself because then you get the benefit. That was the other thing. That the more that you do for others, the greater the benefit for you. It's something just happens. You don't do it for that. I learned that in recovery too, that the
Mhm.
more I became less self-centered, the more myself was happier.
Yeah, the attention is on intention and intention is on all, and we are connected to all, but only when we're, focused on that small self, things get
Things
small
get
real
really
real
small.
fast. Yeah.
The me gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it works. It's really cool. So, anyway, it was amazing, and, I'm so excited for people to be able to hear Lynn actually talk about it because it's yeah, and get the book. Oh my god, The Power of 8 book. So
Yes,
good.
and we'll have links in our show notes, and I think Lynn's actually starting, she does every year, I think she does, like, her Power of 8, like a master class, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna actually confirm that, and then it will be in the show notes,
yeah,
that it's coming out at the beginning of the year, January, February, so we'll get
yeah,
that to you.
I'm excited.